December 13, 1939. It is still dark when three British cruisers, HMS Exeter, HMS Ajax, and HMNZ Achilles, move through the South Atlantic following a simple plan: find and stop the German raider that had been sinking merchant ships. Its name already terrified entire sea lanes: Admiral Graf Spee. 0614. Exeter is sent to investigate a column of smoke. 0616. The message arrives and changes everything. I think it's a pocket battleship. 0618. Graf Spee opens fire first. The confrontation that begins there enters history as the Battle of the River Plate, the first major naval clash of World War II in the South Atlantic. And even though it looks like a 3-against-1 fight, the reality is different. Graf Spee's main guns are 283 millimeters, 11 inches, while Exeter carries 203 millimeters, 8 inches, and Ajax and Achilles 152 millimeters, 6 inches. In other words, the German ship hits harder and from farther away. The British commander, Commodore Henry Harwood, knew that. So, instead of trying a direct duel, he chooses a pressure tactic: split his force to attack from different directions and force Graf Spee to pick a target, while the other two cruisers close in and keep up continuous fire. In the first minutes, the target chosen by the Germans is clear: Exeter. It is the most dangerous ship, the only one with a caliber capable of truly threatening at range. Graf Spee concentrates its main turrets on it, and what happens next is devastating. A hit destroys Exeter's B turret. Shrapnel sweeps the bridge. Internal communications are cut. The ship keeps fighting, but now it has to pass orders improvisationally amid fires and critical damage. While Exeter takes the punishment, Ajax and Achilles do exactly what Harwood wanted. They close in from another angle and begin to harass Graf Spee, forcing the German commander to split his attention, maneuver, and spend ammunition to keep his distance. The battle becomes a short, violent, relentless chase: long-range fire, course changes, smoke, explosions in the water, and shrapnel tearing through steel. Around 7:25, Ajax is also hit hard. One of its aft turrets is knocked out of action, and there are casualties. Even so, the British maintain contact. No one wants Graf Spee to vanish into the ocean. And then the turning point comes. Instead of continuing the duel in open water, Graf Spee breaks contact and heads towards the River Plate estuary. In the early hours of December 14, 1939, it enters the port of Montevideo, Uruguay, a neutral country. From that moment on, the war changes shape. The noise of the guns fades. The clock takes over. Under international law, belligerent warships in a neutral port face strict limits and rigid rules. Graf Spee needs to repair damage, treat wounded, and decide its next move, but it cannot stay indefinitely. Outside, the British do what they do best: pressure and bluff. They spread the impression that heavy forces are arriving and that if Graf Spee sails out, it will be crushed. Intelligence, diplomacy, and psychological warfare become just as important as the guns were on the first day. Inside the harbor, the German commander, Hans Longsdorff, weighs losses and condition. The most commonly cited estimates for German casualties in the battle are 36 killed and 60 wounded. On the British side, Exeter suffers brutally. It is often recorded as 61 killed and 23 wounded on that ship. Longsdorff reaches the point of decision: sail out and fight a force he believes is larger than it really is, attempt a risky escape, or accept the ship's internment in a neutral port, which in practice means losing Graf Spee as a weapon of war. On the night of December 17, 1939, he chooses a fourth option. Graf Spee leaves Montevideo, heads into the estuary, and is scuttled by its own crew. Internal explosions, fire. The ship becomes a smoking hulk visible from the shore. The crew is evacuated and heads to Argentina. 3 days later, on December 20th, 1939, Longsdorff takes his own life in Buenos Aires. It is the final act of a story that did not end at sea, but in the decision of a man surrounded by politics, neutrality, incomplete information, and the weight of commanding thousands of lives. In the end, the Battle of the River Plate is not remembered only as a naval fight. It is remembered as a victory built in layers. Harwood's tactics in the first contact, the British insistence on maintaining pressure, and the transformation of a neutral port into a trap, where Graf Spee, despite its firepower, loses the freedom to choose. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a like to support the content, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next videos.